there, welcome back to another art doll tutorial. We're back here again with Sylvian. We've changed a lot since you last saw her. As you may have seen her in my building up the body tutorial when I was felting up the body. Obviously, there's a lot more been done with her since then. See, she's got a face and her paws all fully flocked. We are probably going to patch up a few spots I'm going to patch up, but she's more or less fully flocked. She's got all her fur on and everything. These wires are going to form the ribbons that come from the neck. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how I make ears. So there's a few ways to make ears. As you may have noticed from a few videos, I don't generally put the ears on until quite late in the stage. Sometimes they're sculpted on, but in this case we're going to make them out of fabric. So I'm going to show you how that works. So these particular ears are going to be wire supported, and the reason for that is because Sylvian has these quite oh, there's a few little stray bits there. That always happens when you're flocking. I'm afraid you get kind of like little stray bits coming off. Just give it a good comb, a good brush. So the reason for that is Sylvian has these very long, kind of rabbity ears, and I think they're probably not going to stand up very well on their own. They're going to want some support, so we're going to use some more wire. And well, we're going to use some wire if I don't throw it on the floor. That's the important thing. So here's just a little bit of wire just to show you. It's the same wire we've got coming out here. It's the same wire that was actually used on the armature. It's aluminium. This particular version is copper coated, but there's no reason for that other than that was just what happened to be in stock on the day. But it's a very good wire. It's quite soft. It's very bendy. Absolutely great stuff. So when I was sculpting the head on this girl, I actually included a few little holes just here and here, and that was for the wires for the ears to go in. So I'll just try and find them now. I'm afraid this is a little bit of a difficult task, but they're covered up by the fur obviously, but there they are. Okay, you can just about see there's a little hole, and the wire will just slot into that. There's actually another one behind this one, just there, and that's a slightly bigger hole, and that's going to be for the second set of ribbons that come from the head. So if you're going to do supported structures coming from a clay part like I did here, like the head, you just won't put the holes in when you're sculpting it. And when you cover them all with fabric, just pop in a little hole. There's another one on the other side. If I can find it. This is a rather awkward thing to do. Obviously, actually finding these when you've covered it with fur is one of the hardest things to do. You just kind of have to poke around and remember where you put it. And there you go, see. So that's where the wire slots in. So I'm just going to pop this away because we're not actually going to use that. That's just a bit of wire. I just had to demonstrate. So, first of all, we want to make a pattern for the ears, and that's just really, really simple because they're just flat structures, really. Nothing special. So we're just going to get a bit of ordinary paper and a pencil. And what I generally like to do in this case is kind of lay the head down like that, kind of trace around the curve of the head. As you can see there. Oops. This is just a regular old pencil. It was just the first thing I grabbed when I was recording. You can use whatever you want. And just kind of draw. Just kind of remember the fact that you're going to have two of them. Obviously you really only want to draw one, but just kind of getting the space right. And we're going to go for a sort of rabbity look for Sylvian. So we're probably going to look a little bit like this. Very, very roughly draw them in. And I think that looks about right. We're going to make them a little bit smaller because the fur is going to add a bit of a bulk as well. But yeah, very long ears. So about that, I would say. And then that little arrow there is just the direction of fur. Remember, fur on ears goes towards the tip. So little thing, and there's the curve of the head where it attaches. And an ear. It's so simple, I'm almost kind of ashamed of it, to be honest with you. So what you want to do is you just want to cut that out. And now you transfer that onto your fabrics, and you have one bit for the one bit for the. Hi and welcome back. So after a little bit of trimming around, this is what we've got. We have the outer ear bits, and this is just the same pink fabric that I was using on Sylvian's head and paws and tail. This is a very lovely soft fabric. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a little bit difficult to work with because it's a bit silky, but it really is gorgeous. The inner ears. Sylvian has the dark blue inner ears. This is minky fabric that I've cut out, and as you can see, that does not go on that one. That goes on that one. As you can see, that will go on top of there to make the ear. The inner ears, I generally use various fabrics. Sometimes I use felt. Sometimes I use kind of like suede effect fabric. In this case, I'm using the minky because it was the right colour, and I just had it on me. and it really is a beautiful soft fabric to use, so that's what we're going for. And of course we have the wire. It's the same aluminium wire, again copper plated, but that doesn't really matter. It's the aluminium that's the important bit, and that is just going to go into there. And it's going to give the ear a bit of support and make it stand up. It's also going to make them nice and posable, which is a bit of a plus. So we're going to work on that. Yes, I do have a drawer full of wire actually. I don't have an intergalactic spaceship. I'm really sorry to disappoint. Some things are just beyond the budget. So that's going to go on top of there. Well, actually, it's going to be it's going to be like a sandwich. So a little wire sandwich. So there and there. Just before we start, by the way, just a second. I'm just going to get the pliers as well and curve the wire round so there's not a sharp pokey bit coming out the top. So that's really simple. Just get your pliers and curve, just like that. Really simple. Again, and that's one of the brilliant things about the aluminium wire. It just bends when you make it, when you ask it to. Do what you want. So there we go. So we're ready to put them together. And so if that goes there, we just kind of put it around the outside edge. I think that will do. Over there. So what we're going to, to attach these two together, we're going to use the old favourite, hot glue. So here's the glue gun again. The old kind of square looking glue gun. So just going to glob it on. We're not going to be too neat round here at the moment. We're going to tidy it up in a minute. So there we go. Just a bit of glue. I'm going to lay the wire down on there. Doesn't have to be neat. Just wants to stick out at the bottom, because obviously that's going to go into the hole on the head. And there we go. Just going to lay that down. And again, remember the minky, just like the outside ear, points upwards, because fur always goes upwards on an animal's ear. Well, I should be saying a mammal's ear, because we're talking about fur, not an animal. Okay. You can see we can actually kind of bend the ear in shape quite nicely. It does leave a little bit of a ridge, so you want to be aware of that, but I think that will do. I'm going to do the same again. Just make it symmetrical. We'll have that bent bit point inwards. Oops, just get another stick, because everything up. You do get through a lot of glue sticks doing this, but hot glue is just wonderful stuff. It really is. It's finds so many uses. And in we go. And oops, I was going to have that point inwards so it matched the other one. Make it nice and symmetrical, that's always a plus. And again, just lay that on top. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to kind of match up. And there we go, two little ears. Actually, they're going to be that way around. Just like that. Okay, so we're just going to neaten this up now so we haven't got these edges sticking out. So, again, back with the glue gun. What we're going to do is just do little sections at a time. And just kind of work it up to the edge there. And very carefully put that down there. Again, little bits at a time. Just be careful it doesn't. I'm thinking the glue gun is getting a little bit runny, so just a second. Just unplugged it. That's generally what I will do if it gets a bit runny. Just unplug it, let the glue cool a bit so it's not too, it doesn't flow too much. You don't want it to be too viscous. You want it to remain relatively viscous, so it's not going all over the place. And as you can see, right down the edge there. Just another little tip, by the way, don't put too much around the bottom of the ear because you're going to be doing some sewing there, and the last thing you want to be doing is trying to push your needle through a big layer of hot glue. That really is not fun. I've done it, it's not fun at all. So I'm going to leave the ear mostly, bottom of the ear mostly unglued. You can see there, we're just going to leave a little, just not too much, just a little bit there. And there we go. Okay, I'm just going to get the scissors now. And as you can see, there's probably a little bit, they're probably not matched up perfectly. Oops. Don't get your fingers stuck to everything. That's another reason for periodically unplugging the hot glue gunner so you don't burn them off. And you can just see there's a little bit round the edge, so we're just going to give it a little bit of a trim. Oops. Just little snips, don't go too overboard. Remember, you can't put it back once it's gone. See any gaps? Any gaps in the glue, you can always. So it's just going around the edge and just making sure everything matches up. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap there. There's a bit of a bit where the fur overlaps it. So again, little snips. Be very, very careful. Little snips. That's what I've always been emphasising. Patience is always the most important thing. Because once you've done it, you can't undo it. There's no undo button on life, which is a very sad thing sometimes. I would have used it multiple times if there was. Yeah, I don't like that. Undo. I don't like that. Control Z. Sorry. But there isn't, so you just kind of got to deal with it. So there we go. We've got one little ear there. It's all trimmed down and neat. And we're going to do that for the other ear. Just make sure it's all trimmed out. So I'll see you once that's done. Because we've done it once. We don't need to see it again. So I'll see you in a minute. And here we go. 2 little ears. Nice little images of one of them, just like we want them to be. Now it's time to get them onto our Sylveon. So let's bring them onto stage. We'll just put one ear aside for now. So we're just going to do one at a time. Onto stage is probably a really apt way to put it, because I mentioned last time I brought her on, which was when I was sculpting her body. She's a commission piece, so I'm really, really grateful to the commissioner for letting her show up on video and show off some techniques of her. And I've been informed that her name is going to be Peas Blossom, which I think is really, really sweet. The commissioner actually, we're just going to look for the hole that I've showed you before, where the ears are going to slot in. This person actually bought my Eevee. I did an Eevee a while back, which got bought, and then that led on to this commission. And his name turned out to be Puck, which I think is really, really sweet. I think maybe he wants to be a Sylveon too when he grows up. There's the hole. I'm trying to make sure, because there's 2 holes there. We have one for the ear, and we have one here, which is a little bit bigger, and that's going to be for the that's going to be for the ribbons that come out there. Because they're gonna have white spots, just like as I mentioned before. These are going to be for the ribbons coming out of the chest. So we're just going to slot that in there, and that's a little bit too long, so we're just going to cut some stuff off. And my pliers. Why can I never find anything? There we go. So, like I said, just make sure it's. I did kind of design them with just a little bit of excess, just to make sure, because you can't put more wire on. You can always snip it off. Let's see if it's just a little bit more. Snip. And yeah, I think that's how it slots in there. Let's see. I think we're not actually going to bother fix. Are we going to bother fixing it? Yes, I think we are. Should get the hot glue out again. I'm just going to let that warm up. I'm trying to give it a little bit of stability, so we're just going to dab a little dab of hot glue and put that in there. So we're just going to let that warm up. You see, I'm not always entirely sure what I'm going to do until I do it sometimes. But that's going to be one ear. You can see how it's going to look. So I'm really, really grateful. I mean, it means a lot to me, just while I wait for this to warm up. It does mean a lot to me when something I send off and something that goes to another person gets a life of its own like that. I think it's something really sweet about the fact that it's not just a sculpture. It becomes a character almost, and that does mean a lot to me. I mean, I'm very sorry, I'm not the most articulate of people, and maybe it's just a running theme that some videos featuring this little lady are just going to get kind of sappy. See what that's squidging a bit, yeah. I think that's just going to be the case, but yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. I mean, if you commission something, even if you've just said a nice word, even if you just watched the video, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I mean, I'm a very shy person. I never thought I'd be doing this. Incredibly shy. But this is just the best thing ever. Thank you. Okay, let's see if that's warmed up enough. I can stop being sappy. Just ease that out. And not too much. We don't want to glob it all over the fur. But just over the oops, sorry you can't see that. Over there. And in goes the ear. Ta-da! So now we just want to make sure that the rest of it is sewn down. And I'm going to get some proper sewing. So, needle thread. Let's get that out. Should probably have done this off camera, but who cares? But yeah, thank you everybody who watches, or just says nice words, or if you said a nice word anywhere else about my work. Honestly, it just means so much. I mean, I've been making kind of stuffed animals and stuff for a long time now, probably half my life. But it's only relatively recently that I've thought about actually selling them. And a lot of that is not because it wasn't any good, but just because I was so shy and unsure of myself, and just some of the reaction I've had while in the year or two that I've been doing this. It's incredible. It just means so much to me. So that side, let's work on. So we're gonna kind of knot up at the back, yeah, just so it's kind of hidden in the fur. And this is why I said don't put too much hot glue around at the base, because you're going to be doing some sewing. So just make sure that's all tightly attached. And there. A few stitches. Okay. And this is where you can kind of make sure that the ear kind of lies in a certain direction. Oops, free it up. So give it a shape. Oops. That was just the thread rolling away, don't worry about that. Things happen. There's no script here, we just go with it. So, just want to curve the ear inwards a bit, so this is where you do it. A nice little curve, so it's not just completely flat. And again, we're using our ladder stitch here, so it covers the edges. If you see me doing some work on the elemental cats and I was sewing some wings onto nitrogen, it's kind of the same principle really. It's a ladder stitch on both sides. I'm going to link in how to do a ladder stitch in a minute so she can see. So I'll put that in the description so you can see what I'm doing. It's not always easy to see what's going on here because there's so much fluff in the way. This is one of the brilliant things about fur fabric. It's very forgiving. Covers up a lot of work, but obviously that's no excuse to do sloppy work. Do the best you can, but just remember, fur fabric, if you make a mistake, it's good for covering things up. This is what I mean. Sometimes it's very hard. Sometimes it's very, very difficult for me to work on camera. Sometimes just because I feel like everyone's going to say, "Oh, I can see what shoddy work you've done," but you just gotta go over it. And you've got to do the best that you can, obviously, especially if you're selling your work. Do the best you can. Do what you can, and things will go well. I definitely encourage you to try things. Just remember, as I've always said, just because this is how I do ears, doesn't mean it's how you have to do ears. You might find that a different technique works for you, and that's part of why I share things, because some people say things like, well, this is my technique, I worked on it for ages. I encourage you to work out your own. Honestly, for me, because you might have worked a while working on your technique, that means other people will probably do the same. They might look at your technique and they'll go away and they'll try it, but you might modify it. You might go, well, I like to do this, but I also like to do it this way. I like to do this bit instead. I do this bit differently. I use a different material. And in that way, things grow and change, and that's one of the beautiful things about any sort of art, is that there's always there's always so many different ways to do it. And it's not necessarily a case of like one way is better or one way works or one way is the best quality. It's what works for you. It's how you approach things. So I encourage you, watch these videos, try out things for yourself, but at the same time, experiment. If this doesn't work for you, that's absolutely fine. This is no single way to do things, as I've been saying over and over. So we're going to do the backing again. You can see there's just a bit of a gap there, so we're going to ladder stitch that up. Like I said, this is usually how I make the ears stand erect. If I'm doing something with broader, shorter ears, usually they will stand erect on their own. But in this case, because we've got the big rabbit ears, you want to add that wire backing in there just to make sure they stand up. But it could be different. It really depends on things like what materials you use. Oops, get that paw out the way. What materials, what technique. Obviously, a sculpted ear would just stand up on its own. Maybe you want floppy ears. Maybe it's all what you want and what you're going for. And oh dear, sorry about that. Sorry about the camera. It's just kind of difficult sometimes to avoid hitting it when you're waving your hands around and sewing. But yeah, what works for you is the most important thing. Always the most important thing. And I think more than anything else, I encourage you to get out there and to learn things and to try new things. I mean, my favourite thing in the world is learning. Anything, how to do things, something new. I don't believe learning is just something that you do in school. Because I meet so many people who just kind of say, oh, I've never really tried anything new. And I think that's a very adult thing to say, really. You get kind of scared to try anything new. You get scared to finish you off there. You get scared to try anything because you're scared it's going to be bad. You're scared you're going to look silly, but don't be. Children aren't scared to try anything new, and neither should you. But yeah, learn. That's the most important thing in the world. Just learn something new. It's not just for school. It's not just for you go to school, you learn things, you get a job, and that's it. That's not what life is about. Things change. So that's my rambly little ramble of the day. There's one ear. We're just going to add in the second ear now. And figure out where I put it. That's going to go in there. So we're going to do the same technique again. Glue it in so it's nice and secure, and then do a little bit of a ladder stitch to get this just all the way around to get the seams in. So same thing as before. I'll save you another ramble, and I will see you in a minute. And a bit of sewing later, here we have it. Two lovely little rabbity ears just sitting on top of our Sylvion here. So she's just about, well, she's not really very close to done. Obviously we still need to add the ribbons in. I might actually do a video on that later on. She needs the head ribbons as well, which I haven't put any wires on. We've got the wires for these at least. So ribbons, bit of touch up on the flocking, a few little finishing touches around the face, and she will be ready for a new home. So again, thank you very much for watching. Sorry about the ramble. I hope you didn't mind that. There's so much. I have a lot of thoughts in my head, but sometimes putting them into words isn't always the easiest thing to do. Like I said, I'm quite a shy person, but being able to share these things with you is a wonderful experience so far. I've been really enjoying it. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please let me know if there's any techniques you want me to demonstrate. If you wonder how I do something, please let me know, and I will do my best to show off. Well, not show off, but show you how it's done, or at least how I do it. Like I said, remember, learning isn't just something you do in school. It isn't just something you do to get a job. It's something you do. It's something you do for the sake of it, and that's always a wonderful thing. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.